Hello there, very good afternoon and welcome to Lunchtime News on TV1. For the News First team, I'm Martin Satyanesan. First up, headlines. Sri Lanka likely not to receive Indian COVID vaccine. The manner in which the proposal on Gazette to reduce the sugar import tax was wrong, says the opposition. COVID-19 patient who left the Punani COVID-19 treatment facility located in Nahaliagoda. Bhutan becomes the first country to receive the COVID-19 vaccines from India.
It will be providing COVID-19 vaccines under grant assistance to Bhutan, Maldives, Bangladesh, Nepal, Myanmar and the Seychelles from today. According to Indian media, shipments will be sent to Sri Lanka, Afghanistan and the Mauritius on receipt of necessary regulatory clearances. In a tweet, Prime Minister Narendra Modi said India is deeply honoured to be a long-trusted partner in meeting the healthcare needs of the global community, and that supplies of the vaccine to several countries will commence today and more will follow in the days ahead.
The Bandaranaike International Airport will be reopening tomorrow. News First Ruaza Irfan reports.
As you all know, due to the COVID-19 pandemic, all the airports were closed last year. Now it is being said that the airports are to resume tomorrow for operations for all tourists coming into Sri Lanka. Now all health procedures are to be followed by these tourists, and a trial is being set today for everyone to see what it's like when a tourist comes to Sri Lanka and what health protocols they have to follow. For the News First team, I'm Ruaza Irfan. Stay tuned to News First for the latest updates.
Leader of National People's Power Anurakumara Dissanayake informed the Parliament today that many Gazette notifications issued by the present government are not in line with the laws.
The government has issued many Gazette notifications in the past. Certain Gazette notifications are not in line with the laws and contains issues when it comes to the practical implementation, and those should be amended. Gazette notifications are issued to assist their associates. Certain Gazette notifications are issued to deceive the people. If a certain tax is imposed, there cannot be any amendments during the first month. However, after 2 weeks, they issue another Gazette notification after imposing 150 and it changes to 120 now. This is contrary to the Gazette. They thereafter removed both of these amendments and issued another Gazette stating the tax as 125 rupees. A license is required for the exploration, excavation, transportation for sale per the Mining and Minerals Gazette notification. How did they remove it? Minister Chandrasena says there is no requirement for a license. How can you exclude it? Under which power of the president? The president goes to a village and tells whatever he says have to be included in the Gazette. How can you do that? Thereafter, Minister Chandrasena over the phone take measures to remove the requirement for license. Was this removed to provide concession for the people? No, it was to provide relief to sand and soil smugglers.
The patient who left the Punani COVID-19 treatment center without prior authorization in Valechene, Batticaloa was taken into the custody of the health officials in Toranagoda in Nahaliagoda. A 43-year-old resident of Adagala in Nahaliagoda left the Punani COVID treatment center in Valechene in Batticaloa last night. He was taken to the custody of the health officials with the assistance from the police nearby his house. The police said the individual, after tested positive for COVID-19, was sent to the Punani treatment center in Valechene in Batticaloa for treatment. Police said the individual is a drug addict and legal action will be taken under the quarantine regulations. There is a possibility to take legal action under anyone who is aiding these people under quarantine regulations. Also, we can seal their assets. As a result, please pay attention and act accordingly. The judiciary can deliver a 6-month jail term and a fine of 10,000 rupees for these type of offences. A letter was handed over to the Presidential Secretariat and Office of the Prime Minister's Secretary by the Motorcyclist Association of Sri Lanka, requesting to provide concession for them during the pandemic.
The group who handed over the letter to the Presidential Secretariat left for the office of the Prime Minister's Secretary thereafter. We submitted 16 requests based on grievances we as motorcyclists face, including the removal of bans on imports and the limitations imposed on the importation of spare parts. We also face discrimination from the police. We requested the President and the Prime Minister to formulate a robust plan in order to solve all these issues we face. The government decided to cancel all problematic laws, and if they do not, we will take to the streets on the 14th of February. Meanwhile, the group also handed over a letter to the Sports Ministry to allocate a separate area for the professional motorcycle road racers.
An individual has died after being attacked by a wild elephant in Deepthigama, Anuradhapura.
Area residents said the individual has been guarding his crops last night when the attack took place. The deceased was a 50-year-old father of 4. Our correspondent said he is a resident of the Deepthigama area. Residents charged that the wild elephant has been encroaching the village for days due to deforestation.
Chinese state media reported that China has deployed 16 professional rescue teams and dozens of medical personnel to try to save 12 miners who were trapped underground for 10 days.
A total of 22 miners were left trapped after an explosion on the 10th of January at the Hussein gold mine on the outskirts of the city of Yuntai on China's eastern coast. At least 12 were found to be still alive after a note was retrieved a week later expressing hope that the rescue work would continue. Chinese media reported that rescuers found 11 of the survivors yesterday and spoke to them via a waterproof telephone delivered underground. They further stated that 8 of the 11 miners were in good health, 2 were unwell, and 1 was in a coma after being struck in the head during the explosion. The 12th surviving miner is in another section and is believed to be injured, though the situation remains unclear as of now, and rescue operations to reach him are currently underway.
In your sports news, Ashanta Demil, the chairman and team manager of the Sri Lanka Cricket Selection Committee, has resigned from the post of team manager. When contacted, he said that he had been the team manager at the request of Sri Lanka Cricket since the Cricket World Cup and would continue to serve only as a chairman of the selection committee. Meanwhile, Sri Lanka cricket captain Dimuth Karunaratne and 5 other players have been released from the Sri Lanka Test squad against England. From that, we bring to a close this edition of Lunchtime News on TV1. For details of the stories and much more, simply log on to our website www.newsfirst.lk. For the Newsfirst team, I'm Martin Satyanesan. You have yourself a wonderful day.
Forge ahead.